Hey guys, what is going on? And welcome back to that Wolfie Royals podcast, episode 2, February 2023. Let's get to it, shall we? So, I'm sure everyone's seen the news on Facebook with the IHS shows. IHS is moving down south. So, IHS is going to be in Milton Keynes in June and September. I believe the dates are the 18th of June and the 3rd of September. So, really looking forward to those. Be really good to get a decent turnout, and it's quite nice not have to travel up north all the time for the shows. Just some updates for the sponsors. So just to let you know, Ashley at Living Art Ball Pythons is having a huge sale all through February. You may have seen it posted on social media as well. The discount code will not work for the month of February while the sale is running, and I believe the only thing excluded in the sale is heat mats and thermostats. But other than that, there is a sale across the whole range of products that she stocks. So if you are after any accessories, etc., head on over to her page, her website, check everything out. And an update from Wild Racks as well. The boys at Wild Racks are now Viper bedding distributors. So if you are looking at trying out Viper bedding and you have a delivery with Wild Racks on the way, they will have it for purchase on the van as well. So if you do happen to see them and you want to try it out, grab some blocks from them as well. Other than that, there's not really too much to update you on, so we're going to get straight into the episode. Really good episode, had great fun recording this one. So without further ado, let's get into it. This is my new breeder segment with Ben from the SnakeHut.
Hi there, this is Scott from Scott Wilkinson Reptiles. I'm pleased to support that Wolfie Royals podcast. It's absolutely fantastic to have a UK-based podcast, and Tom's slowly starting to get the hang of this. So, for those that don't know me, I've been breeding reptiles now for over 35 years and have focused on breeding ball python morphs for the last 20 years. I'm also working with probably the largest collection of Australian blue-tongued skinks in Europe, including albinos and melanistics. I also have been importing and exporting reptiles for over 25 years now and currently offer that service for other breeders and collectors and can ship your animals in and out of Europe, USA and Canada. Best place to find me is on Instagram or YouTube, or if you're really unlucky, you'll see me half naked at a reptile show somewhere around the world. Message me via Instagram for any further details and enjoy this amazing podcast. Take care.
So here we are with Ben from the SnakeHut. Thanks very much for coming on, Ben.
Hey man, nice one. Thanks for having me, man.
Pleasure.
Really made up, dude. Really cool. And thanks for giving me your time, dude.
Absolutely. No worries at all, mate. Absolute pleasure to have you on. So just give us a quick, brief rundown of who, what, when, why, sort of how you got into reptiles or raw pythons.
Yeah, man. So I'm 38 now, and I started collecting and keeping reptiles probably when I was about 14 years old. So I've had a massive passion for them, like all my life, really. Less so with snakes. So it's always been reptiles that I've kept, sort of like bearded dragons and leopard geckos and crested geckos. Sort of used to frequent the zoo a lot and I was always like well obsessed with kind of enclosures and kind of sort of like these like little microclimates and sort of fake environments. I'm sort of a creative, so all of my work in life, I've been sort of doing creative sort of ventures. I currently live in Liverpool. I'm from Herefordshire originally. I moved up here after my degree. I studied visual communication in Birmingham, which is kind of like a mixed art skill based course, sort of marketing and illustration and graphic design and filmmaking. But I moved up to Liverpool. I joined a band and I actually came here for a party about 18 years ago and crashed on someone's couch and kind of like been here ever since, man. I then started like a film and photo studio, working with some quite high-end clients like Nike and Adidas and LFC. But what I really enjoyed doing was building sets and set design, which then led me on to start a camper van conversion company in Liverpool. And again, because I'm using my hands in like a creative way of making these really tiny spaces, it's then sort of like evolved again. So last year I set up a small sort of sideline hustle building vivariums, but using the same sort of tooling and machinery and materials that we produce our kitchens with.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so then I kind of got like really obsessed again with kind of these small enclosures and spaces of trying to sort of push the boundaries of what you can kind of achieve. These are like really beautiful little environments. And then it kind of led me to kind of I'm quite obsessive with stuff, with making stuff. And then I kind of like had this garage opposite the house, and I was like, wow, that's a dirty old space. I wonder what I could do with it. So in August last year, in 2022, I decided to convert it. And it's a DIY project. I love sort of building stuff. So I kind of like gutted out the whole garage. We've got a bifold door installed. I didn't really know what I was building at first. I kind of just, that's the way I roll, man. I kind of get inspired. And it then finally sort of turned into this really beautifully sort of designed room that was fully insulated. And then I said to my partner, Rachel, when I retire in the future, my dream is to have like a big collection of reptiles. And I'd really love to do that when I retire. And she said, well, life's too short. Why don't you do it sort of now? And because she gave me a free pass, I was like, man, I'm going to take that opportunity and run with it. So I then started kind of like thinking, well, I'm going to fill it full of vivariums and keep reptiles. But then I was thinking, well, it's going to be an expensive sort of like game to venture into. So I got my first royal python last year, and man, that creature is amazing. It's a fire pinstripe desert ghost, and just doing more research about the husbandry of it and their requirements, I then sort of looked at building racks. So then I built this whole sort of custom built rack system in the space. But it was important for me to make it look as cool as possible. So I used loads of nice materials and sort of inbuilt LED lights, and really focused on the sort of like aesthetics of it all. But what also was important was to build a creative space so I can continue sort of doing my sort of graphic design and artwork in there. So that's kind of where I'm at, really. And it's again, because I'm quite sort of quite impulsive and quite obsessive, kind of wanted to just jump in 2 feet first and go hell for leather, really. I really geek out with research, and it's now evolved into this thing where I've kind of got now, I think, around about 50 royals in there, and I'm loving every single minute of it, man. Yeah.
I mean, I saw the build that you'd done on Instagram. I think it was last week or the week before, and it's stunning. It looks like a kitchen showroom in there. It's fantastic.
Thanks, man. I mean, that was my aim, really. Kind of, it was the same principles. When I first built this camper van company, I went to a few shows, and it dawned on me that things looked a bit tired and not really to my sort of taste. So it was again with the racks. I kind of wanted to. The challenge was to build something that would look fit for purpose inside someone's house. Very much sort of like a high end sort of design to it all. That's kind of why it looks like that, really. I just wish it was bigger, man, because I'd like to continue building and adding to it. But it is a small space. It's a micro setup. It's just a 1-car garage space. So I've got a glass ceiling that I have to work to. Yeah,
but it's the same as me, and mine's an old converted garage. It's, like I say, a 1-car space. You've got a limited footprint, and you want to get all your amenities in there as well. You want to make sure you've got a sink and water and etc. Blah blah blah. So you already sort of limit what you can do with the amount of animals you're keeping anyway. So I think yours looks incredible, and it's good to see someone coming into it and just going, right, I'm going full beans for this, straight in at the deep end. Sort of let's do it right.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of my logic, and it normally is with a lot of stuff. I think having the luxury of being able to build it myself is a massive cost saving. So I wouldn't have had the finance to buy all those racks, and get them fabricated. But because I can build them myself, the cost factor isn't really there, because you're just paying for the raw materials. So it's a lot cheaper way of doing it, because I don't have to pay for any labor.
Absolutely. So what's the plan for you going forward with it? Is it something that's going to stay on the side, or is it something you're going to hopefully turn into a sort of a full-time job as such?
Yeah. Well, so I know the answer to that. I was apprehensive about saying, I did sort of speak to you briefly about it, but I guess none of my staff are going to listen to this, because It's not their bag, man. But yeah, so basically, I do actually really like the idea that this might overtake what I'm currently doing, because I think sort of since lockdown and during lockdown, everyone has taken time to reflect on what makes them happy. And in my younger years, it was very much art and animals and being creative. Being an adult now with 2 kids and you've got to be a provider. I have very much built a beast, which is a 9-to-5 structure of manufacturing. And it is good, don't get me wrong. But now venturing into this, I can't help but shake the idea that wouldn't it be a dream to do this full time? So that is kind of an aim for me. I would love to do this full time, really, to have, because you buy back time, don't you? You're sort of in your own facility, and also you don't have to pay the overheads of renting a unit and paying staff. But yeah, so I have concentrated on, making a return from, all being well in a few years, by investing in decent livestock at the moment. So that is definitely a goal of mine. But I guess I got to take it one step at a time and not take too many risks.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, if you're going in with a clear idea of what you want to do and how you want to do it, I think that's the best way. For far too long, people have been worried about saying that they wanted to make money, or that they could make money, or that they are making money from the animals, it was almost like a taboo subject, which is completely crazy, because, like you say, if you are investing into the amount of livestock, the build, the equipment, the materials and stuff, do you expect to get something back from it? Otherwise, no one could carry on doing it. It's completely unsustainable.
It needs to be, yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. It needs to be sustainable. I, like a lot of people, don't have that excess cash to pump into a hobby. So I think it kind of needs to pay itself back. And also, I think my way of thinking would be that it should as well, because then if you are making a return on this, whether it is just a sideline income, I'm sure that the royal pythons would benefit as well, because you're making money, so then you can take better care of them. Rather than being sort of strapped for cash and then being concerned about heating, because obviously heating costs at the moment with everyone, and feeding costs. So I think if you are making a return, you're probably going to have healthier animals.
Absolutely, yeah. 100%. So you mentioned there sort of investing into livestock as well. What sort of projects are you working with? What's the route you're going to go down?
So basically, I've got quite a mixed bag. I've got probably about 20 breeder females at the moment. Got a small collection of pieds that I'm mixing up with some leopard fire clowns.
Okay.
And orange dream cinnamon hypos. And a few clown projects at the moment. But what I'm trying to focus on eventually is more sort of desert ghosts, xanthic clowns. But also recently I picked up from Darren from Neighbours Constrictor 13, a leopard tango gravel and a leopard tango female. So some cool projects in the pipeline.
Absolutely.
I'm quite excited about a few of my sort of like smaller males. I've got a few sort of desert ghost clowns and desert ghost pieds that I'm really excited about working with in the future. Yeah, but at the moment I've got some sound royal pythons that will get me started. But then I've kind of invested in hatchlings and everything to grow on for the future.
It sounds like you've done it the right way. You've got decent recessives that are sitting there. You've got things that you're going to be building up with as well. So I mean, desert ghost clowns, desert ghost pieds, anything that's double and triple recessive at the moment is, I think that's the way to go. I think that's the trend of the market currently.
Definitely. I mean, there's some really exciting stuff that I've seen online, man. There's actually some stuff that I've seen that I can't stop thinking about. And there's quite a few things that just blow my brain, man, in terms of like the actual sort of the patterns of all these. It's crazy. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to pigeonhole myself into just going down one route. One thing that strikes me in this hobby is there's a lot of trends, and trends can come and go. So I didn't want to sort of snooker myself, but also I didn't want to be so broad to have a collection of everything, So I wanted to kind of, not put all my eggs in one basket, but also be sensible about having some sort of focus as well.
Absolutely, because like we say, spaces have a premium at the moment, especially with bigger spaces comes bigger heating bills, bigger electricity bills, etc. And I think that's where sort of double and triple recessives lend themselves to multiple projects at the same time. So you can have those smaller amount of animals with much more potential and a much broader range of sort of scope of what you can do with them.
Yeah, totally, man, totally. Yeah. I'm really looking forward, because this is my first season. I've had loads of successful locks, which I'm really happy about. I'm super keen as mustard, man, to get those clutches for the first time, but also just super excited for like this time next year as well, man. Sort of actually using some of these hatchlings that I've sort of bought and stuff, it's it's all super exciting, man. It's kind of like similar when you have when your partner's pregnant for the first time, man. You don't know what to expect, but maybe I should say that. I hope Rachel doesn't listen to this, but it doesn't. Obviously, it doesn't compare, but man, there's a few sort of a few
similarities.
Can't wait for, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So going forward for you, where do you see yourself in, say, 5 years' time? Where do you want to be with the hobby, or the business, or the industry with it by then?
Well, man, I in that time, I think it might be that we're moving from Liverpool down to Oxford at some point. So I think if that's the case, next house I'd like to build a bigger facility, and I would probably like to, go all in again. I really do like to think that maybe in 5 years' time, this is a full-time sort of enterprise for us, for me and Rachel and the kids.
Okay.
All being well, that's what I'd like to do.
I mean, with your business background, it's certainly within the realms of possibility. You've taken the photo studio and stuff, and the camper van stuff. So I don't see there's no reason why you can't push it forward and make it a full-time gig.
Yeah, I think that's what kind of like interests me, man. And like, it was something that dawned on me only relatively recently. I can utilize a lot of skills that make me very happy. So doing the photography, doing the filming, and the brand identity. And more recently, I've been doing a lot of drawing as well, sort of drawing the snakes and different reptiles, and just like, working and molding all of that together. It does turn into this really creative thing, because there's creativity we're breeding these as well, isn't there? Kind of, it's almost like a palette of colors, man. And I think for me, it just ticks so many boxes of like just like creative release, which is really important. Yeah.
With the artwork, how do you do, like commission pieces as well, or is it just sort of your own little hobby and sort of interest?
Yeah, I used to back in the day, man. Yeah, so when I moved to Liverpool, I was actually doing a lot of album covers for bands.
Oh, okay.
And like tour posters, gig posters, and had a few minor bits published. But now, I think probably what I'm going to do is I'm definitely going to focus on the drawing still, but probably not do commissions, only because it can suck the life out of your sort of creativity and take the love out of it a little bit when it becomes monetized. Okay. Puts pressure on it. But one thing I do want to do later in the year is I'm doing a collection at the moment, the drawings of all different reptiles. And I want to compile a book to sort of teach kids and take away that stigma that reptiles are kind of sometimes they're looked at as in a negative way, So I really want to make a kids book, not awesome. Really to get it published or anything, probably just self-published,
sort of educational piece. And
yeah, man, just something like nice and fun, just with a few sort of key factors, and just create a bit of awareness, really. But also they're really cool to draw, man, because you've got so many different colors and stuff, and they're cute, right? Like
absolutely
tree frogs. Yeah, it's the perfect character for kids' stories and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you look at any of the the Disney or the Pixar films and stuff, the ones that have been based on any sort of animals have always been the most popular. You go back to things like Lion King, Madagascar, all sorts of films like that. Kids love them.
What's really cool as well is like following a few people on Instagram, man, there's a whole wealth of images to sort of get inspired by, all these different morphs of kind of like crested geckos, which it's going to be exciting, sort of drawing all these. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man.
What's been the best piece of advice that you've been given coming into the hobby?
Something recently, actually, on a group call in the Urban Constrictor Discord. I wasn't sure how many successful clutches I might get this year because it's my first time breeding. So I downplayed what I might be able to achieve. So, but then someone turned around in the Discord and said, well, this might be your first season because you got breeder females. This is not the first time they've done it.
Yeah.
And then realizing that there's, because you're working with animals and biology, that, there's a lot of stuff outside of your control, so, and patience and everything, so, but that was a really good sound bit of advice for me being a new breeder, that, don't underestimate the power of these creatures,
Absolutely. On the flip side, what would be your piece of advice to anyone coming into the hobby that was looking at starting from scratch like you did?
I would probably say, do your research for sure. I spent a long time on Morph Market just working out the sort of genetic calculations, and then maybe being quite vigilant on who you're buying from.
Yeah.
I think rubbing shoulders with the right people is so important, man. I think especially now as well with cost of living going up, I'm quite aware that there's, some people might want to make a fast sale. It's not necessarily for your good intentions, very good intentions, So, I think due diligence with checking out that breeder really, and just listening to your gut as well, and don't get sold something that you don't necessarily need. Yeah,
absolutely. Far too many people will get sidetracked with buying animals that they like the look of visually but have no plans for, and trying to create a path that probably doesn't exist or like they have no chance of sort of creating down the road. So I think buying the right stuff early, having a proper game plan and a proper structured route of how you want to do it, where you're going to go with it, and even buying things with the intention of breeding them in sort of 3 years' time. If it's a long process, just play it out, see what happens.
Exactly. Yeah. I think just sort of like doing as much research as you can, and there's some really good Discord pages as well, where there's just so much information and sound advice as well, because it's a safe environment to ask questions.
Yeah.
When, like anything, man, when you're new to something, whether, even if you're going to make a purchase on a bit of technology, if you jump onto some forums, you get so many different bits of advice. And I think that's when it's quite important just to listen to some people who've been doing it for a decent amount of time, to take on board, but also don't take for gospel what some people say, kind of keep your guard up a little bit and double check that information with someone else.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So who have been your sort of biggest influences since you've been into the hobby?
Well, yeah. So the main ones, man, Gav from Boards to You has been really helpful from the start, actually. He helped me out a fair bit, man. He's been really good and patient and given me time on the phone. And Darren from NC13, man, he's been such a massive legend. I met him last, was it October in Manchester at the Reptile Show. I was there with my daughter, and I clocked him at the very end of the day, man. And we got on the house on fire. And he's an amazing guy, man. Just has a lot of time for people and doesn't have a bad bone in his body. And he's very genuine. And basically, he came up to Liverpool last week, drove all the way from down south, and brought over to me a group of breeders. He spent the entire day with me, man, kind of going through, just checking out my sort of husbandry as well, because, obviously haven't had many people over to the gaff, so he just I just asked him if he could just like check over everything. He was like, thought it was really cool, and then just went through all my pairing lists and adjusted a few bits, so we could hit sort of like better future goals. But yeah, he just had loads of time, man, and I've got massive respect for that guy. But also Paul from Urban Constrictors, man, really, really good guy and something to aspire to, man, with what he's doing. Some of those projects he's working on is incredible, but also the way that he operates his facility and works it into like a fully functional working business, those guys stand out to me, definitely.
Perfect. No, I think you've picked some good guys for that list there. They've all been on the podcast. Darren is, if you listen to the last one, Darren's probably one of my closest friends anyway. He's about a 15-minute drive from me. So,
is he? Yeah. So as you know, man, it's a big trek to Liverpool, man.
Absolutely. He did ask if I wanted to go down, but I couldn't get the time off work, unfortunately. So,
oh, you missed out on the tomahawk steak.
I know. I saw that and I thought, I should have just called in sick for the day.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, it's a long day for him.
I'm going to start wrapping this up as we are 25 minutes in. So, where can people find you and go and follow you?
Yeah, sounds. So, we're called the SnakeHut, and we're on Instagram. I forget the URL, man, but I'm sure if you put in the SnakeHut, you'll find us.
I think you are. Is it the _snake_hut? I think possibly
something like that.
I saw it this morning, so I was looking around.
Yeah, that wasn't the slickest answer, I'm afraid. It's the _SnakeHut. And but actually at the moment that's our only channel.
Okay.
Oh, and we've got a YouTube channel as well, but I've got a massive 1 follower subscription to that. So if anyone wants to hit me up, man, and stroke my ego, please follow us.
And what sort of things can we expect to see on YouTube?
Yeah, so I'm making a lot of sort of time-lapse videos of me drawing, little tours around, and I'm going to endeavour to make sort of almost like a vlogging style throughout our journey, really.
Okay.
Yeah, man, yeah.
That'd be awesome. Well, Instagram, YouTube, go and follow it, all under the SnakeHut banner. Go and check it all out. You will not be disappointed. Go and watch like the build videos and the setup videos and stuff. It's absolutely stunning. So nothing left for me to say apart from thank you very much for coming on and giving up your Saturday morning. And,
awesome, man. Well, yeah, thanks for the time, Tom, man. I appreciate it. Dude.
Nah, no problem at all, man. Absolute pleasure as always. And no doubt we'll catch up in the future.
Yeah, brilliant. Will do, man. Thanks very much. No worries, man.
Cheers, bub. Thank you.
Hi, this is Darren from Wild Rex. We've decided to sponsor That Wolfie Royals podcast for the 2nd year running, as he done so well last year. So, if you're in the market for a custom-made rack in any colour you want, with any colour tubs you want, check us out on Instagram and Facebook. Back to the podcast.
And there we have it, folks. That was Ben from the SnakeHut. If you're not following his Instagram, go over and check it out. The room he's built is absolutely incredible. Yeah, it's a small little micro hut, micro room, but it's done to a really high spec, really high quality, and I really, really do think he's going to do some really good, great stuff with the animals that he's brought in. So go and check that out. And, go and check out the YouTube, like you mentioned there, for time lapses with his drawings, etc. So, on to the main guests. I'm sure these are 2 guys that you're more than familiar with. They are a ray of light in the hobby, shall I say. 2 funny guys, 2 really nice guys as well. If you follow them on YouTube and things, you'll get their sense of humour and stuff. And it's refreshing to sit down with people that, just take the piss out of each other all the time. It's really, really good to see. So, without further ado, let's get into it. This is New Gene Balls.
Hi, this is Sean from Eve's Temptations Royal Pythons and Eve's Temptations Creations. I chose to sponsor That Wolfie Royals podcast because I believe the hobby needs things like this to bring us together and to showcase all the talent in the hobby, old and new. I am a hobbyist Royal Python breeder specialising in double and multi-recessive projects. Check out Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date, Morph Market for available animals, and feel free to message or catch me at a show for a chat. In early 2021, I set up Eve's Temptations Creations initially to print my own snake bags, and it grew massively from there. I print t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, key rings, glass, photo boards, and much more. This is merch printing for the breeders, by the breeders. Unlike the big companies, I will only print it if it will look good, so I can check your logo files and can alter for free, so there's no nasty surprises when your stuff arrives. I can also do gifts for the family, like photo slates, mugs, and baby grows for all occasions like Mother's Day, Father's Day, and anniversaries. Podcast listeners can ask for the podcast bundle, a t-shirt, mug, and keyring package at a discount, which can be for your own logo, podcast logo, or a mix of both. Find both pages on Facebook and Instagram by searching for Eve's Temptations Royal Pythons and Eve's Temptations Creations, and keep listening to the podcast for limited special offers throughout the year. Thanks for listening.
So here we are with Scott and Lee from New Gene Balls. Thanks very much for coming on, guys.
No worries.
Thanks for having us.
So if you've listened before, opening question is always just you guys giving a little brief rundown of who, what, when, why, how you got into ball pythons.
Okay, you ready for this? Take it away, Lee.
He just said, literally, don't talk over each other, and you spoke over the top of him. All right, so, yeah, shut up. About 20 years ago, I suppose, I got into reptiles. Always had a fascination with critters and stuff like that.
What's the fascination, mate?
Just as a kid, I used to just go collecting bugs and critters. So about 20 years ago, got a couple of corn snakes, a couple of geckos. Had them for a few years, then moved house, got out of it for about 5 years. Then we moved into this house, and I got into geckos. And I had geckos in the hallway, in the bedroom, in the living room. I had them everywhere. And then decided to turn what the building we're sitting in now into my reptile room. My original gecko room was that little room now, which is about 7 foot by 6 foot. Then it came into this room, which is about 14 foot by 12 foot, then eventually just took over the old building. So I've got a building at the bottom of the garden where I keep all my reptiles, but it was all geckos for a few years. But after about 5 years doing geckos, got fed up with starting cleaning them out. By the time I got to the end of them, it was time to start cleaning again. And I started not to enjoy it too much. So I knew it was time to get out of it. Said to my wife, can I get a couple of royals? She agreed to 2 royals, and she's never changed her mind since. And so I don't know how many's in here, probably...
Just 2.
Yeah, just two, yeah. And then another 150 on top of that, I suppose.
She's not allowed down here, though, so you're all right, mate.
Yeah. So, yeah, she don't come down that much, although she's very supportive of what I do. So, but, yeah, that's about it, really. I've had loads of stuff in between. I've had, like, bigger snakes and other species and that, but it's just royals I enjoy the most. It's like... Yeah, go on, sorry.
Are you solely collecting royals now then? That's it?
I've just got royals and I've got a pair of rhino rat snakes under there.
I nearly called him a liar.
What?
He's always got something. He's always got something up his sleeve that he wants to get.
No, I always see something. Like I'll be on Morph Market and I'll be browsing different categories on Morph Market and I'll see something that I want or I've wanted in the past. I'll get them and they don't last too long because I'd rather the space be taken up by royals than other species. But I'd love to get like Woma pythons and some dwarf boas and stuff like that, but I just ain't got the space. Scott keeps telling me to take the room next door, which is my wife's room.
Take it.
And I'm not going to do it.
Just take it.
No, I'm not going to do it.
Take it from her.
No.
So you don't use it?
No, I'm not doing it. So yeah, I'm happy with the size of the collection I've got now. I'm more than happy with. And I'm self-sufficient with my rodents and everything, so it all works out really well. But that's about it, really, in a nutshell. So over to you then, Nobby.
Just imagine if you took that room next door.
I'm not taking a room next door.
I could double my collection.
No. It's not happening. It's not happening. This is as big as it's getting, the room we're in now.
Right, not even taller.
No.
Right.
No, it can't go no taller. Can't go.
Now, I've got in the same as Lee, collecting newts. I used to love catching newts and slow worms, things like that when I was young. But my first reptile went down to Wilton's. 1994, 95. Oh, look at that. I'm going to get myself a Burmese python. Lovely.
Stunning.
I had it about 3 years. Got about 7 foot long. No. And it was an arsehole. It was in the cage, it was an arsehole. Got it out. Does your bleed machine work?
I've turned it off.
Oh, damn it. I'll take that back. Anyway, it was a nasty snake. Right, but out of the cage it was fine. But it was just too big for me. And I realised quickly, I can't do that. And then I got a royal. And on and off between then and probably 2000 and... What year was it, Lee?
I don't know.
I know, but I'm looking at
It's
you.
not my story. It's your story.
I reckon about 2007, 2008 when I was in Tilbury. In Tilbury then, yeah. That's when I got a Royal. And then I got another Royal. And then I got a Brazilian Rainbow bar. Like a tiny little hole at the bottom of a 18 litre tub. Yeah. And I got one morning, it was gone. And my wife went mad. And do you know what? It was missing for about a week, and I had these little traps set up for it. Do you know, little bug tubs? I filled one of them up with wet moss. I put it down the bottom of this shelf. I cut a little hole in it, and the day before we was going away on holiday, she was doing her nut. I went and checked it, and it was in there. I couldn't believe it. Back in the tub it went. Obviously, hole covered. Yeah. And she was all right since then. No, but since then, Royals. Moved into Grays, just round the corner from Lee, which was helpful.
For you?
It was helpful for me, yeah. It's no helpful for you.
No. It's been a pain in the arse ever since you moved in there.
But, yeah, and it's just grown from there. Built a shed, because all the stuff I had when we moved, I had to go in the living room, and it stunk in there. I kept everything on paper. You can imagine,
it's unforgiving, isn't it, paper?
Stink of urine, horrible. So I built a shed in the back garden pretty quick.
And that was just your pants, wasn't it?
That was my pants, yeah, that was. And then the snakes tops it off.
Yeah.
And then I had him coming round. Yeah, I'll take this. What's that? It's chocolate. I don't want chocolate. This is about 7 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I was way ahead of the time, but I just didn't even know it.
Yeah, but you didn't want them.
No.
Yeah, right. So, yeah.
He's an innovator.
And, I don't know, I suppose since then we've been getting stuff on and off from each other, and then I just decided to take his stuff.
It's quicker that way, isn't it? Just
easier,
let him buy it and you take it.
That's
cheaper.
It, yeah, that's what we did.
Yeah, it's pretty much how it works, isn't it? It's only just dawning on me now this is how it works.
I sold him all my stuff that he's now giving me back.
Brilliant,
yeah.
Brilliant.
Because you did have like a 6-month hiatus, didn't you? Where you...
I did, yeah. I went off the rails a bit.
Yeah.
And got rid of everything, got myself some bows. I thought, get rid of snakes or the Royals. It's just getting too much. And I weren't thinking about it properly. And I got myself some bows. And then I watched this twat doing what he was doing with his stuff around here. I thought, oh, damn it. Made a mistake. So then I got back into Royals. And he was not slow in helping me.
Cheers. Appreciate it.
Buy that.
Go on, that one looks nice. Go on.
Put a rack in there.
I spent loads of his money for him.
So that's how you guys started out individually. How did New Gene Balls come about?
Can I tell this one?
God, it might be different from my story, but go on.
No, I'll tell you how New Gene Balls turned out. Right, so this podcast, I feel quite awkward. I'm a socially awkward person, right? So I don't really like stuff like this, but
don't look pretty either.
I appreciate being on here. So cheers, Tom. So right, I've got the. This is going to go back to the Dark Sun stuff. So I'm going to start with the Dark Sun stuff, and then it will lead on to our.
Yeah.
We ended up doing stuff together. So I had a phone call for a good mate of mine, Paul Savin, works down at Wilton's. He had someone go in there, got a whole collection of snakes. Do I want to buy them? The shop's not interested in them. So I went down there with not very much money in my pocket, and I ended up buying everything that was there. So there was 3 unusual snakes in there, which turned out to be the 3 Dark Suns. There was some pieds in there. I needed to recoup the money that I'd spent on them, so I sold the pied stuff, kept the 3, what we're now calling Dark Suns. I brought them home and I had them for a couple of years, just me. And I was doing bits with them. It weren't going where I wanted it to go. Didn't have the room to breed them too much because it'd have been too many old backs. So I thought I need someone that really knows their stuff to come in with me. So I couldn't find anyone, so I asked Scott.
Yeah!
So, no,
it's true. What are you laughing at?
Seriously though, if I'm ever doing something, if I'm ever doing a pairing and I'm not sure about something, the one person that turn around and call me a dickhead, and why am I doing that pairing is Scott. So I needed someone that weren't gonna, because I'm like giving them half of the project. I wanted someone that weren't just going to say what I wanted them to say because I'd given them half the project. I wanted someone that was going to be serious about it and give me a hand with it. So Scott took half of them, and that was great. Everything was going all right. And then he come round about a month later after he had half of it, and he said, right, this is our Instagram, this is our Facebook, this is our YouTube. And then we said, right, let's start doing a video. And yeah, I was way out of my comfort zone. So that's how New Gene Ball started. We was joint on the Dark Sun stuff, and it's just really grown from there. So Scott's got his collection, I've got mine, and we've got our own joint collection
together.
And a lot of it does overlap.
So what year was New G Balls? When did that start?
3 years?
Was it?
About 3 years
About
ago?
3 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
I reckon, yeah, about 3 years ago. But it took me a year to get him on camera.
We know, we've seen the videos.
Yeah. But, yeah, it was... took a long time, innit, to get where we are with it. And we're still not where we want to be.
But we're not rushing with it. We're not sort of throwing everything at it.
It's not that we're not rushing, it's because not that many people sort of follow us.
Yeah, yeah. But but I suppose when you see our videos, it's either like it's a bit Marmite, isn't it? You're either going to watch them or you're not.
Yeah.
And but yeah, that was a big thing as well with YouTube. Like, be how we are anyway. Like, you know, if just me and Scott in a room, as we are on YouTube is exactly as we are, you know, any other time. So it's.
What you see is what you get.
Yeah, pretty much. And we started like editing the videos for YouTube and beeping them and all that because there was swearing that just naturally happens. And in the end, we just said, no, we just leave it. We just leave it. If people want to watch it, they can watch it. And it ain't for views and it ain't for subscribers. It was really just to show what we're doing with the Dark Sun stuff. But then it just carried on.
Yeah, I mean, when you get to our age, you forget. So it's nice to go back and look. We're laughing at it. That's the truth.
He's nearly 50.
I am.
He had a ponytail up until 2 years ago. Until a year ago.
It's coming back.
Oh, no.
So if anyone talks to anyone on social media, 99% of the time they're talking to Scott.
Yeah.
Not me.
Because he never answers it.
I don't mind editing the YouTube videos and uploading them and that, but...
Actually saying that, you do most of the answering on YouTube now.
Yeah, I reply to a lot of the stuff on YouTube, but other than that, Instagram, Facebook, and it'll be Scott.
So you mentioned there, obviously, the Dark Sun stuff. Where are you with that project? What have you sort of discovered with it? What are you still trying to find out?
We have two theories. The first one that seems most obvious to us is that this gene, whatever it is, because we ain't nailed it yet. We think we have, but we're not 100% sure. It's proving to be allelic with albino. We've proven that multiple times. Now, it's either allelic with albino or toffee candy, because they're allelic with albino, or the other theory that was thrown at us was that it's like the het daddy gene, where that gene just... what's the word I'm looking for, Lee?
I don't know. I was miles away then. I weren't even concentrating on what you were saying.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's sort of like you've put it daddy with lesser. Het daddy on its own is nothing.
Yeah.
You put it with lesser and it makes an amazing snake, or something really different. Now, this could be what's happening with the dark matter gene. We put this gene with albino, boom, we're getting the Dark Suns. But I'm erring on the side that it is allelic with albino, as we've proven out.
I mean, we're pretty much guaranteed that if you take a Dark Sun, put it to an albino, you won't get a normal. You won't hatch a normal out.
You're either albino or you hit Dark Sun, or if your albino's got other genes and it combos of the two, but you will not hit a normal.
So it's working the same way as like the Krypton stuff does, the Candinos, the Toffinos, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, we've done it with Toffee, obviously, because Toffee's allelic with albino. We've proved that. We've done it with pied. We've had just normals, but obviously they're double it, pied dark matter or pied albino. They've got to be proven out.
We've got some females growing up, haven't we, that are either het albino or dark matter. And dark matter is what we're going to call the gene that's isolated. And we think we might have done it. So we've got one animal that we think we might have done it with.
Well, it looks different to all the others, doesn't it? Out of everything we produce, it is the one that actually looks different.
Should point out as well that when I brought all that stuff from Wilton's, now you've got to give credit where it's due. So we've been working on it for a while, and we got a a on Instagram from a bloke called Tyrone Brown. And he said that he produced these back in 2015, was it?
No, so I didn't. That 2013 he made them.
Right, so it turned out that Tyrone had asked his mate to look after his collection, and his mate took his collection, moved away, took them into the reptile shop where I got the phone call. So I didn't know that I was buying someone's collection that they didn't want to sell. Yeah. So when Tyrone got in contact with us, so I keep wiping my nose and putting my hand in front of my face.
That is fine.
Yeah, so...
We'll edit that bit, don't worry.
Yeah. Tyrone contacted us and said that he had produced them. It turned out that he had a wild-caught female that he paired to an albino, and he had hatched these animals out. Okay. So, because he's the one that done it, he's now got a pair. So we got him back into it, because you know what I mean. He's good, he's top bloke, really up on his genetics as
Yeah,
well.
he's done
Got
a lot
some
of nice
cracking
stuff, yeah.
but it was only right that he was back in on it, so he's now got a pair. And yeah, you can carry on with what the gene is about now, then.
No, finished.
That's a change.
No, we've released a few. We've mainly to friends. We've done a few trades with a couple of people who are really interested in it, and they're obviously working with albino or candy. And we've sold one. We've had interest from one big breeder, I'd say.
Yeah.
That was just last week. But,
Okay.
he ain't followed through. But it's the sort of gene. If you've got a big albino project on the go,
Yeah.
or you're
Toffee
the
or
sort
candy.
of person, or toffee or candy, you can just plug this in and you're going to make something completely different that no one else has got straight away.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's not many people sitting on albino projects at the minute either, so
No.
it would be a decent way to sort of set yourself apart.
So going forward now, Scott's going to work more on the Dark Suns, which is the dark matter albino.
I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm not.
And I'm going to be working more on the Dark Novas, which is the dark matter toffee.
Candy. We're calling it candy
Toffee,
now.
candy, same thing.
Not to anyone, but they're the same gene. Toffee and candy. It's been proven they're the same. You're going to edit that, aren't you?
No,
Oh, brilliant. Yes. So, anyway, yeah. Yeah, because he didn't want to do albino no more.
I didn't want to do that. I like albino, but I really like what Toffee's doing, and I prefer. What it was, I had albino clown stuff,
okay,
and I was expecting a lot more from it,
right.
and it just didn't do it for me. And I could stack genes on it. I could have stuck black pastel, Enchi, blackhead, stacked all them on there to make some other nice looking animals. But I've seen the Toffee clown, and the Toffee clown on its own is a nice looking animal that you can really sort of work with. So albino went, and I'm working more with
He's
Toffee.
got a lot to prove because he's actually talked me out of lavender
Right.
because he reckons that a toffee pied or candy pied, what should we call them? They're both the same.
Same thing.
The allelic to albino gene, pied, is probably as good as a
Lavender.
a lavender pied.
I think the adult version of a
Dreamsicle.
toffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the adult version of a toffee is just as good as a lavender. You might get a bit more rich colour from a lavender, but I think the purples will stay more in the toffees and the candies. I think you get more of that purple as an adult.
All right, sold it.
So
I think the way it's going now, though, with people stacking the genes, by the time you put yellow belly, orange dream,
Yeah.
black pastel and stuff, I think there's going to be too much difference between it.
It's all going to be mushed in together into one orange ball.
It's literally what they look like anyway.
Who can make the brightest orange?
well, we'll see.
Terry.
Terry? Terry who?
So what other projects are you working on? Because you've got quite a lot, obviously, between the two collections and sort of new gene balls together.
There's one gene, right? There's one gene that Lee's got that he didn't want, right?
And I still don't want it.
Exanthic. He hates Exanthic, right? And what did we buy? What have we now got into? Exanthic.
No, right.
TSK. No, let me finish,
All right,
right?
go on. Yeah, go on.
So we're never going to do Exanthic. We're not doing Exanthic. All right, Lee, should we? No, we're not. Right, all right. Scott, go and buy an Exanthic off Dave. What? Yeah, go quick, go and have a look, go and buy one.
Right, so years ago, I got Exantic stuff, right? I ain't going to say what line it is because I don't want to put any line of Exantic down.
VBI.
Twat.
What's
Well,
on VBI?
If you're
wasn't it?
buying it from Dave, he only works at TSK,
TSK,
anyway.
yeah,
So.
we know what we've got.
Yeah, I know what we got. Right, so I'd seen the only two decent Exantics I'd ever seen were Bumblebee Exantics and Lightning Pieds. Really like them, but they're the only things that seem to look good as adults. The babies that I brought years ago were really nice. As soon as they got to 6 months old, they just looked like a dirty normal. And I don't want to offend anyone, but they did to me. So everyone's got to do what they like the look of. But then last year, I see Dave Davis TSK Exantic stuff, and it just blew me away. And I said to him, it's really nice. I said, but I just don't like the Exantics as adults. He showed me on his phone a picture of some of his adult TSK Exantic stuff.
Yeah.
You've seen them, haven't you?
It's unreal. It was
He got
unreal.
some really, really good Exantic stuff.
Couldn't believe it. That man deserves a lot of credit. He's just, he's amazing stuff he's got and what he's done. But his Exantic line is just, it's amazing. And so I said to him, get Exantic. But I didn't like G-Stripe.
Now we're going to ruin it.
You didn't like G-Stripe? What have you bought, Lee?
I bought G-Stripe.
Really?
No, I didn't like G-Stripe. But then I see Garrick DeMeyer's G-Stripe clowns.
Yeah.
Amazing looking animals. Really nice. And thought, why not? Just, I think you should work with, I don't think you should ever have anything in your collection that you don't like the look of or What? What are you laughing? What are you
Because
putting
you've got
face?
something here. We've got a project, right, called the Sweaty Ball Bag Project. Right? No, we have.
Yeah, we have, yeah.
Right? We are going to make a blackhead ghost, scaleless head
No,
ball python.
scowless. Not
No,
scowless.
All right, scaleless. And it's going to look like a sweaty ball bag. Right? Now that...
I don't want to do it.
And Lee don't want to do it for some reason.
I don't want to make
I just don't
scaleless.
think he wants to hold them. But he forced me, right? He went out and brought... He said he'd never wanted to do scaleless. He came round mine one day. He went, "Yeah, I'll use that." "What is it, Lee?" "Oh, it's a butter scaleless head. It goes." "Why you got that?" "Well, because you can use it, but you don't want to do scaleless." "No, it's all right. Just put it with that." So we did. We put it with the blackhead ghost. Hatched these scaleless heads out.
So we've got a blackhead hypo scowless head female, and we've got an hypo scowless head male. But
So now it's all you want to say. No, we're doing it. We're going to follow the project through. You brought it. We're doing it.
yeah, but it depends, doesn't it? Because I think, what do you think, Tom? I think scowless head on its own adds a little bit more to the look of the animal.
It certainly changes the colour palette for sure.
So I don't think you need to go scowless where they just look.
That's a very
horrendous.
good point. But what
You've
will
committed
upset
now.
him more?
Yeah, that's
Yes,
what you're
exactly.
breeding for, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
So we're going to go for the scowless blackhead.
you're only doing this because you know I don't want to do it.
Yep. I'll hold my hands up, yeah. But it's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, but other than that, so the main things this year that I'm working on, and I'm working on for me and Scott round here, would be hypo clown stuff, ultramil pieds, hypopides, and then just making a few doublets, but a few combo
Yeah.
doublets, you know, just looking, because
So you're heavy on the double recessives this year. That's what you're sort of shooting for.
pretty much, yeah. So I don't think there's anything. There's probably going to be, hopefully, within another 6 months to a year, there'll be very little in this building that ain't either het or a
double het.
visual.
Yeah.
And sticking with the, top quality genes, around mine we're doing tri-stripe, and we're also going for super normals.
Yeah,
Yep,
super normal.
that's right.
Yeah.
That project's a go. What are you laughing at? What are you laughing at? They're locked, aren't they? We're going to have it.
Oh, back to mum.
Yeah, back to mum. It's
Yeah.
going to be a super normal.
It's not. You can't get no sense out.
No,
People
but it
don't-
is, isn't it?
Picked up a dinker girl. Right, so it's just really like a nice looking, funky normal.
Yeah, I got lumped with it again.
So we've bred it, and then we've kept one of the we've kept a male back from the first year, and he's ready to go back to mum now. So, in Scott's wisdom, he called the project Back to Mum. But he is
It
adamant.
makes sense.
It
He
is,
is
yeah.
adamant that if it turns out to be something, the gene's going to be called Back
Back to mum.
And he will go. He will if he makes the scowless blackhead hypo. He does want to put it up on World of Ball Pythons as the sweaty.
The
ball
sweaty
bag.
ball
You
bag.
can never get an answer from there, though. Well,
It'll be up there in about 4 years if you
Yeah,
make it.
pretty-
not that it
Yeah,
means
yeah.
anything, but you send them an email and I've never got a response.
No,
Yeah.
no, not so much lately.
I don't know. Perhaps we're doing something wrong.
So, New Gene Balls, what are you working with there aside from the Dark Sun, Dark Nova?
Well, everything. I mean, whatever Lee's got here, yeah, I'm gonna get, and whatever I've got, Lee's gonna get. I mean, I've got the Wookiee. Don't need to go and get Wookiee now. Well,
Yeah.
actually, whatever way we work is pretty good because
Yeah, it
whatever
is.
I hatch from that Wookiee, he's gonna get.
Yep.
So I don't need to buy stuff. He don't need to buy stuff, and the stuff we've brought actually some nice stuff together with what we've earned. Selling our snakes that we've bred and made together, we've done pretty well, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, you'll get acid. You got the Wookiee and I've got the acid. Although you're not convinced.
If it proves out.
it is going to prove out. It's because I've got the banana acid lesser pastel female maker,
Right.
and because it's got banana in it and it's got pastel in it, and that the acid just don't
You
pop
don't
in
see
it.
it, do you?
You don't see it. But once I start breeding it, and then I could have got. If I'd have wanted just a straight acid, it was more money than what that
Yeah.
animal was. So. And I couldn't afford to get the straight acid, so I went for the banana.
In
banana
Lee's
acid.
defence, he's pretty good at spotting genes. I'm useless, but he's pretty good. They usually do prove out.
But yeah, the way, I mean, this year I've got like 3 females that I'm using, like 3 of my own females that I'm using to go for hypo clans, and then we've got 1 or 2 females at a joint going for the hypo clans because the one male, the hypo clan male, won't go across all of them. It's too much work for him. I'm using a clan het hypo, but if the 2 that we've got joint, no hypo clans come out, he'll get an IPO clown. If I hatch more than one, he'll get
Yeah.
one.
So it works out both ways for you,
it's
isn't it,
just
really?
easier to do it that way. We don't look at money side of it. If like I'll take an animal from Scott and I'll use it for a year, and he'll say, like, don't worry about it, I don't want nothing out of it. Just take it and use it. It's only going to be sitting there otherwise, and vice versa. So I think
Best way to do it, really.
Yeah, as long as he's pushing things forward.
Lee might actually animal. Oh, when I go right, I'm taking that.
Which you done with the Ipo Barnard Black Pastel. You
Yeah,
took
that was nice.
That come out the egg and then he put it in his pocket and run.
Didn't have to go far, did he, to get back home?
No.
It works well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does
It seems
work
to
well.
work well anyway.
Yeah, it does work well.
So 3 inspirations when you were sort of getting into the hobby 20 years ago. Who was sort of around then that you were either looking at or watching or reading about?
Go.
I didn't learn about the internet till 20 years ago, Tom. I'm probably behind, What did I go? What was the reptile forums?
Okay.
RFUK.
Yeah.
You know, I stumbled across that, but
Well, that's where most people started, wasn't it, back then?
snake bites,
Yeah.
and I still love watching his video. He gets a lot of stick, that bloke, but I do like his videos.
You even grew your hair like him, didn't you?
Yeah.
The UK Brian Barczyk. Yeah, so when you trying to put names to faces, Scott's the ugly one, and
Lee's the bald one.
I'm the one that's going to people know what you look like.
They just looked for the tall one, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, imagine if Jeff Goldblum and Susan Boyle had a love child. That's Tom.
Susan Boyle. Susan Boyle.
What's the singing voice like?
I don't know. I thought it was because that was a
You
Scottish
don't know.
sex symbol.
Oh,
You was
fair
doing.
No, yeah, it was just Snakebites TV. I got on RFUK and started going through the pages on there, reading stuff.
Yeah.
That is probably where I learnt most of my stuff on there, which probably don't stand for much now. But was Scott Wilkinson's. What was this one? Captive Bred.
Captive bred.
Yeah, I was on there quite a bit. But that's where it took up for
He
me.
didn't ask what platforms inspired you. He asked what people inspired you.
What, the platforms inspired me, Leo? Is that not allowed?
No, it's not. It's
Well,
not, it's not the question
unfortunately,
he asked.
that's it, because I don't know many people.
All right. Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
What about you? Where was you looking? What was you sort of watching and stuff?
RFUK.
It was just the only thing. The only thing that was about was RFUK. When I was into the geckos, it was Sasabek, an American breeder.
Right.
Watched all this stuff. Amazing gecko breeder. Then when I started getting into the Royals, yes, Snakebites TV, RFUK. But yeah, I suppose inspirational wise, it was just really the backing of like my wife and my parents. They always pushed me to do it, and they see if you like it, just go with it.
I'll tell you who else, right, because it's come to me now. They weren't when I started, it was a long way in. You pick these things up, but I used to watch Gavin a lot.
Yeah.
You. The content's brilliant. For if you want to learn stuff, and he does it pretty scientifically, brilliant. But we can't do content like that
Why not?
because we don't want to.
It don't work. We tried.
And
We tried. It
we're
don't
not,
work
We're
out.
not intelligent. He can't keep a straight face.
I don't
I'll
think
get all
he's the only one.
serious, right? And he just.
But inspiration as well. We saying about inspiration. The other one person, like a local person to me, that used to help me out quite a bit was, and it's probably the only person I ever asked questions to, was Chris Thomas.
Okay.
Yeah, he was always there to answer a question, And at the time, I couldn't really afford to buy anything, but he'd still be there answering me questions. So Chris, he was really good. I think he's been doing it like Royals. He's been doing it a few years longer than me. But
Yeah, if I want to know anything now, I ask Lee.
Because he knows it all now, doesn't
That's
he?
it. He
No,
does.
no.
Between the two of us, we know everything.
So what differences have you seen from sort of when you started out 20 years ago
Lee
to
knows the
now?
answer to that one.
what difference is in the
From
hobby?
when you started out from sort of like 20 years ago to now? What have you noticed, like things that have probably changed the most?
Everything's going recessive. It's everyone's collections. They're pushing recessive a lot more. I don't know. I weren't really prepared for that question. But
I think the knowledge you gain. I mean, back then I went and brought a Viv. I brought a 3-foot Viv for a Royal.
Yeah.
I didn't get a heat mat, which was a positive. But you get a lot more people. There's a lot more people you can go to now and ask who actually keep the reptiles than 20 years ago. 20 years ago, you had to go down to a reptile shop.
Yeah.
You had to go to the reptile shop. There weren't the instant oh, how'd you do this? Or what'd you do if this happens? You can go on Facebook or Instagram. You can ask that question and you're going to get an answer in 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, information's a lot more readily available
20
now.
years ago, you had to go down to the reptile shop or your local pet shop and you took their word as gospel.
Yeah.
Now, some people still do that. And
particularly if you don't know any different.
And a lot of reptile shops pet shops and even reptile shops, unless they're good ones, they'll still tell you need a 3-foot fifth for a baby royal, and they'll give you an eat mat and a mat stat, firm stat, and these people come and say, well, it's not doing anything. No, that's because your setup's all wrong.
Yeah, husbandry's completely off.
Now and then, that's the major difference. It's the information. It's right there.
Access to information as well, isn't it?
But then you've got to go to the right places to access
don't
information.
Come to us.
Don't come to us, and don't go on Facebook and ask. If you really,
Facebook's all right.
No, it's not. It's not. It's you're
right.
You used to comment on there. You'd comment. Someone would ask you, and you'd say, right, in my opinion, this is what I'd do. And then you got like 10 people
telling you you're all wrong and you're an idiot.
I'll tell you a story about Facebook, right? Which resulted in the RSPCA knocking on my door. So I was overrun with rodents, and I put a post on a snake page. It was just like a Royal Python page. Anyone need any rats before I bang them in the freezer? That's what I put on there, right? And I'm not joking. My wife was getting messages from people threatening to hurt her because they thought I was going to chuck these live rats in the freezer. Well, seriously. And this went on, and because I'm a, should we say git? I can say git.
Yeah.
So I'm a git.
Or tosser.
I was still on the post I put up, people saying you can't do that, blah blah blah, and I was on it for about 2 hours, and someone had already come and collected the rodents and gone with them, and I had people offering to buy them off me to sort of like so they didn't get killed and what have you. And anyway, the next day I was about to leave for work, and I was in shirt and tie. RSPC knocked on the door. Oh, what do you want? They went saying about some rodents. And I was like, oh. Can we see them? I said, well, you can't see the ones that I was talking about. She said, why not? I said, because they're probably in someone's snake now. Because I sold them last night. Sure enough. I said, well, what's the matter? She said, well, apparently you're freezing them alive. I said, am I going to put 20 rats in a freezer and shut the door, keep them in there, stop them from running out? It's ridiculous. But she came and had a look at my rodents and went, yes, all right, go on. And make sure you tell the person who complained to sod off.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'd say stay away from Facebook.
You've got to word your questions properly.
I think Facebook can be such a great tool to use, but sometimes it's just an absolute cesspit, and it is awful.
Yeah. Now, I think if you want advice now, I think you should do something like go and join Gav's Patreon. Something like that, because you can ask, we haven't
even joined Gav's Patreon.
Yes, we have.
Only the Breeders' Club one.
Yeah, but you can join. How much? It's a few quid a month, and you can ask. You can ask questions, and you'll get sensible answers, and you ain't going to get overrun with negative comments and stuff like that.
Yeah, if anyone wants to ask, I'll get asked loads of questions.
Yeah, we don't mind being asked questions.
I take pity on some people when they put a post up and you think you're going to get ripped to shreds. Yeah. I actually message them and I say, look. Just do this or that and take your post there.
You can spot the ones that you think are going to get ripped to shreds from a mile away, can't you?
They don't know no different.
No, they don't. They've been fed false information or wrong information for ages.
You've got people who've been doing it, I'm going to have you. And they do, they go for the guts.
That is the mentality, yeah.
All have to start somewhere. And, just asking questions on Facebook, I don't think is the right thing, really.
So anyone in the world, if you have any questions about Royal Pythons, go to Gav, yeah?
I'm not just join his Patreon. It's going to cost you a few quid a month, and you'll get the answers that you need.
Or you can ask us. You'll get an answer.
Might not be the right one.
Yeah, it might not be the one you want.
Oh, no, we'll tell you what we do. Yeah. But I mean, some of the stuff I do compared to what Lee does is sort of like you can go in his incubator. He's got about 20 thermostat bloody readers to see what the temperature is. You go in mine, you won't see one. I'll turn it on, I'll check it once or twice, and that's it.
Off you go, leave it alone.
Yeah, it's night and day. The way we do things is night and day, but it works.
Yeah.
Do you think that's why it works so well?
Probably.
Sort of polar opposites, not clashing with being too similar all the time?
I think it's because I'm older than Lee.
Yeah.
You're older than a lot of people.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, no, it just works. It just, don't know what it is, but it just works.
If you can go around someone's house, and call him a twat and still go home laughing and he's laughing, it's all right.
Yeah, he's done it right for
when
you.
I go home.
Yeah, I mean, or in the summer,
can't
cry.
in the summer you can go around someone's house and just open their fridge, drink their beers. Then
I love coming round here in the summer. It's brilliant.
Cheap beer.
yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, you did replace them though, didn't you? You did
I
buy me a
did,
case
yeah,
of
of course
beer.
I did.
And then
we-
you drunk that.
Well, I needed something to drink when I come round, you see.
Yeah, it's on the trunk, all the other ones. Where did they go?
It was me.
So, 3 best things about the hobby for you guys.
Lee?
I said best things.
No, I love cutting eggs. I love cutting eggs. That is the
You can't let anything
That is
kid.
the best thing for me in the world is to cut an egg. And a lot of people are gonna hate me saying that and probably say whatever, you shouldn't cut eggs. We keep a snake in a tub. Why shouldn't I cut an egg?
Yeah, true. It
What's
makes no
the
difference,
problem?
really, does it?
Yeah, but I love it. For me, that is the best thing. Dropping Lig and Cell on Lee's floor. Love it. Absolutely love that. And drinking his beer, I suppose.
That's your 3
That's
best
my
things.
That's his 3 best things.
That's what keeps me going from day to day.
So my 3 best things. I've got to say Scott now because he said me.
No, you ain't got to say me.
No, I've got to now. No, seriously. No, Scott. Probably the community. I don't really sort of mix with a lot of people in the community, but I know who I like mixing with, and so the community. I like. What else?
We ain't really upset anyone yet together, so we're all right in the community.
You've upset plenty on your own.
Yeah, I said together.
Yeah, together. Yeah.
Together, because you go and have a drink. It's, you don't know. Yeah.
Once you've drunk all his beer,
brilliant.
you go and annoy people.
I just love it. I can come down here.
I could have sold a snake to Dean when he was
Don't even-
totally obliterated. I can't do it to you,
interrupt me.
mate. Can't do it.
Don't interrupt
I'm
me,
sorry,
Bellin.
but number 4, interrupting Lee.
Number 3. You done?
I'm done.
Number 3. I just like coming down here. I can shut myself away, and it's like being a mad scientist. And you can try to make something that is just looks unbelievable. You can take 2 snakes that you'd never believe are going to make what they make, and I just love it. It's like my own little world down here. It's brilliant.
Is that what you love, or is it when you tell me your idea and I say, don't be a dick?
Yeah, no, that helps sometimes. Yeah, that helps sometimes. But in fairness, though, I hardly ever take your advice, and I still go ahead and do it.
No, I know.
How do you decide pairings for what happens at New Gene Balls? Do you work it together, or do you have an amount that you just go, this is what I want to do with it? What do you think?
No.
Basically, I'll say to Scott, I think we should do this, and he'll go, too late, I've done this.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
But we do come up with plans, don't we? We'll sit down here for hours sometimes and discuss what we're going to do breeding wise throughout the year. We're going to put this to this and that to that, and then what we'll do is probably November time, a load of Mars snakes to come round here, a load of Lee snakes to go round mine, and we'll do the breedings, and halfway through we change our mind, don't we? And something else will shift back, or you know, but we just do it like that.
We just enjoy it. It's not about anything other than just enjoying the hobby, really. That's all it is.
There's things I want to make, there's things he wants to make, and we do it together. You know, if we get there, we get there.
And his projects he's got me into that I think are shit, and probably likewise.
Got no shit projects.
Dot.
What are you talking about?
Dot.
It's the same as Nanny.
No, it's not.
Oh, quick, edit that.
Edit, quick, get that
I
one
meant to
out
say
of
it's the same as Orbit. Edit.
So, numbers-wise, what do you guys sort of work with? What's
We
the
work
sweet
with numbers,
spot?
Tom.
What's the sweet spot in terms of pairings for you?
I don't know.
You haven't found it yet.
No, I haven't found it yet. Yeah, I still don't know.
So I've got room for 60 adult females, and so far I think I've paired up maybe 42, 43.
That's not the problem, though. The problem is you only got room for 20 hatchlings. So we're not good with numbers, are we?
So if I've paired up 42, 43, on the past years, I'd expect maybe 30 of them to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm happy. I don't really want to do that many pairings, but then where some of it is mine and Scott's, I say I'm not pairing that this year, and yeah, Scott will come round and I'm pairing it. So I don't mind. Every now and then I'll just take a clutch round Scott's and say you can sort that out, and he'll sort it out. But yeah, around 40 females is a good number for me. But hopefully I can, in the next few years, I can cut that down, but it will be more. Don't shake your head. I am cutting it down. Hopefully, it will drop down to about 30, but the quality of what I'm breeding will improve.
Yeah.
But it's just like, the collection's evolving, so hopefully, year on year, the quality gets better.
I think you've got to cut down to not do as many pairings because you're like kids in a sweet shop, aren't you? Really, we've got no self-control.
No.
We're middle-aged men and a bit more with no self-control.
That's one of the fun things of when you're being locked away in your own rooms, though, isn't it? No one's really there to see it and tell you to do otherwise. Just keep that quiet, off it goes.
Just chuck him in.
Yeah. I'll just do that today. I'll just do that, and by the time you know it, you've got another 15 that you weren't going to do.
Well,
I think the other thing that we like doing as well, though, we do like going for like an obscure gene, like trying to find something that not many other people
what do you
are
mean
working.
we?
Well, we do. You always say,
It's you.
shut up.
All right.
So we'd like to get genes that not many other people are working with, and then try and see what we can do with them. And
Okay, give us an example.
Circle gene, Mackenzie gene.
Crab.
There's nothing right. That circle's going to be good.
I'll be honest, the circle gene looks really good, but I don't like the Mackenzie gene. But if he makes something nice, I'll like it.
Yeah, you don't like it yet.
Nah.
That's what you don't like.
When you got the
It's just
dot
like
stuff.
a dot.
Yeah.
When I make a super dot, you're going to want one.
No, I'm not, because I know what the single gene looks like, and it's
Do you know, when I make a super dot, it's going to look like a bell. So
You don't even know what it is.
No, you can't say something. I know what you said, the gene's pants, but for me, it's not my choice. But I'm sure
just
these.
say it's pants if you think it's pants.
Oh, it's pants.
There you go, it's pants.
There's genes out there that I've done it before. Like you think years ago,
There's a ghost.
no. Years ago, I'd pick a gene and I'd think, right, everyone's working with this gene. I better get it.
Yeah.
And I'd get it and I'd look at it and I think, I just don't like it though. It's not for me.
Yeah.
So now I just don't do that. If there's something that I don't like the look of, I just won't work with it. I won't use it. But I think that's the best way. You've got to do what you like doing.
That is one bit of advice I'll give to everyone when they ask me, especially people who ain't got many snakes. And they say, oh, what do you think? And I just get something you like.
Yeah.
Don't worry about anyone else. Find something you like, work with that.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
make your own path and then find out
that's
where
it,
you want to go with it and what you want to do. I think too many people now just follow what they see on the internet, don't they?
Yeah.
They see what's popular, what's selling for a certain amount of money, or what the top breeders are working with, and that's what they've got to go and buy. And
That's why I got in the clan.
So we've said best thing, worst thing about the hobby for you guys.
Lee.
I reckon I know what Lee's answer is going to be.
No, not having enough space. That's got to be the worst thing. You can.
You got kids around there, they can be moved out.
I've also got a wife, Tom.
Well, they should move out as well.
I don't want her to move out. It's something, don't I? No, space. It's never got enough space.
Yeah, especially when you're working with projects and
That's
trying
it,
to keep stuff back.
You're getting so much stuff, and you want to grow them on and see how they progress, and then take it further, and then by the end of it, you've got a room full of snakes. And then you've
got to make some difficult decisions then, haven't you?
Like, oh, what am I going to do next year? Or do you know what? I'll tell you something else I love. I know you want to hate, right? It's going to get to about April, right? And I'm going to come round here, and Lee's going to be like, nothing's going, nothing's ovulating, nothing's doing. I love that time of year. It's brilliant. It's the best time of year for me. I'll come round here and say, don't panic, Lee.
Scott's
Don't
season's
panic.
always earlier than mine.
And then he gets about 30 snakes all go at once.
Oh, Jesus.
And then he's going to say, I ain't going to have enough room. I ain't going to have enough room.
He's always, every year, he's earlier than me. I've even last year, there's a bit of writing up on the board there, and it's like November, and then I put down what the temperatures are, all feeding, right? And then at December, January.
Does
and
that
then
help you?
Yeah, it does, yeah, because I look at it and I think, don't panic, this is what it was like last year.
Yeah.
But Scott's season's always spread out. It starts earlier and it spreads out over the year. And mine just it's always nearly
comes
in
at once.
one go.
Do you still pair all year round, or do you work within the seasons?
Within the season. So November I'll start pairing. By August I'll stop pairing.
I've got snakes that I know go late, so I'll breed them late. If a snake lays late in the year, there's no point breeding it.
Once you know
have
the
to
cycle.
wait until it's ready again. So, yeah, I'll breed all year round.
When do you typically finish clutches?
When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do I finish clutches? When do
Like when's
I don't.
Well, you got stuff in the incubator now, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, we got 2 eggs the other day. So, but she usually lays around November. So she's a bit late this year, and she had a crap clutch as well. 6 slugs.
2 eggs.
Gutted.
Yeah, that is a kick in the teeth, isn't it?
Anyway, got 2 good eggs. Got another clutch due in the next 3 or 4 days, I reckon.
Yeah.
Or hopefully even sooner.
Yeah, and you've got ovulations going off and builds
I've got
going
one
off.
pre-laid. I've got another one in pre-lay. I've got that one you see that's massive ovulation. So yeah, I like it when it ticks along.
Spaces it out makes it a bit easier on you as well, doesn't it?
But space is the worst thing for me. I hate space. Well, not that I hate it. I love it, but I ain't got.
You ain't got enough of it.
Yeah.
We will make more space in your room, though, won't we? Because you want to take that wall down, move it.
Yeah,
Smaller rodent room, bigger.
Yeah, we're going to
reptile
make
room.
another 2 foot.
A 2 foot. This might make all the difference.
I don't think it will, but
What's 2 foot? That's another rack of V7, isn't it?
I don't need no more V70s. I need some smaller,
Some hatching
smaller
stuff.
tubs. Yeah, but nah, that's it. And selling snakes.
Yeah.
That's sometimes Lee's really good. He usually gets rid of loads of stuff that we're not going to use. He usually finds a way. He's good at that, and I like swearing and bringing on with him. You know.
We don't say it like it's
With
a
him.
sexual thing.
No one thought that until you just said it.
It's the only reason I'm with him. No, it's the only reason I work with him. It's the only reason I'm with him.
I don't work with you.
Move further away from me.
Oh, Lee.
Stop touching me.
Anyway,
It's like a married couple.
that's the only reason I work with Lee.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Worst
Just
thing.
to be near him.
I've got 2 worst things.
Go
And
on.
I'm going to do the one that everyone does because I can't stand it for reptile talk,
this
and
might
that's
be mine.
Facebook.
Yeah.
I love Facebook.
And the second thing is jealousy. I can't stand the jealousy that's in the hobby. Not everyone, 90% of people as good as gold, but I really couldn't give a toss if I'm working towards something and
Someone else gets
is
there, yeah.
working towards it exactly the same pace, and I'll miss the odds, and they get the odds. Good luck to them.
Yeah.
The jealousy some people have got is ridiculous.
Yeah, the green-eyed monster comes out a lot for people, doesn't it, in this hobby?
Yeah, it don't bother me.
I've never seen it.
As long as
Because
I'm
you don't go
matching,
out.
as long as I'm matching what I want to match, then I'm happy. Everyone else can do what they want to do, and as long as they're happy doing it, good luck to them.
3 bits of advice to new breeders coming into the hobby. What would you say is the most important?
Don't ever try and hatch a silky way.
It's because it's my nemesis. Yeah. You know what I've tried about 4 years to try and hit a silky way, maybe longer. Never hit a silky way. I've hit plenty of ivories trying to hit silky ways.
Not females though.
But out of I think I'm up to 21 now. 21
Jesus.
ivories, and I think I've
All male.
21 ivories, 20 males, 1 female, but the 1 female was a joint clutch between me and him, so he said I can't even claim that.
No, that's mine.
Scott's taking it round to his.
But this is how childish he can be, right? So at the SWC show, he even went and spent his own money buying a silky way.
I traded it.
Oh, I traded it. He traded his own snake to get a silky way just so he can keep it in his racks to piss me off.
Yeah.
Who needs enemies when you got friends like that?
I forgot your question.
3 best bits of advice to people coming into the hobby today.
Go slow. Don't go and spend your money on something you're not going to like in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Save your money. Do your research. Save up your money, and if there's something you really want, if you want to buy a leopard or Batman, you know, a Batman or a spot-nosed leopard clan, save your money and go and buy one.
Yeah.
You know, you're better off doing that than buying
Putting
a
5 or
leopard
6
and
animals to the
putting in-
rack and...
Yeah, that's my advice to
So
people.
I'd have said exactly the same thing. When I started, I was going out and buying as much as I could. Like, you know,
It
if I
was
see
murder.
one animal that was like 200-300 quid, I'd buy 3 animals at £100.
Yeah.
Just so I had more. But yeah, that's definitely not the right way to do it. Just, yeah, like Scott said, do your research, find out what you want to work with, and then stick to it. And
I've even turned sales down. People don't even know what they want. I said, do you really want this? Well, I like it. What would you really like? Oh, I like this. Well, why don't you go and buy one of them?
Yeah.
Have you got one of them? No. But, you know, if you don't tell them,
That's it.
They're just going to get lumbered with it, and it ain't no good for no one, that.
It'd be nice to see a few younger people coming through in the hobby. Like younger people.
It's a bit perverted, Lee.
No, it's not. What? So if there is any younger people listening and they can show us that they've got a setup, when we etch stuff out of surplus, like, you know, your normals, your pastels and stuff like that, if they want to contact us... and
we've got some super normals coming.
Yeah, if they want to contact us for an animal, they're more than welcome to have a snake, as long as they can show us the setup that they've got. If they can look after it, then, we'll sort them out an animal. If it gets more young people in the hobby, then, yeah.
Yeah, there seems to be a bit of a... not a stop to people coming into it, but like you say, definitely a...
Don't be scared to ask advice, people.
Yeah. Yeah, completely.
Always. Either Gavin or us.
If Gavin's going to get swamped with his inbox, is just going to be going there.
Now ask. Just ask. There must be someone you trust or someone you're following, and if you ask them a question they don't answer, follow someone else.
Yeah.
Because there are people who will give you an honest answer, you know, and they're not just out to make a buck or whatever. They'll help you, you know. It's like a mentor.
There's a lot of help
That's a good
out
word.
there.
I'm old enough to be a mentor.
A mental.
Mental.
Oh yes, that's it. Yes.
You're already that.
There's a lot of good breeders out there who give you some really sound advice. So yeah, ask questions. Ask plenty of questions.
Sound solid advice, that is.
Hi, it's Dan from World of Exotics. We're a specialist reptile shop based on the Wirral, proud to be sponsoring the Wolfie's Royals podcast. If you're ever in the area and need any of your reptile supplies, we're always fully stocked with live food, frozen food and everything else you need for your animals. We always try to have a wide selection of different species in store with a good selection of royal pythons. We update our animal lists weekly on our website at worldofexotics.co.uk, and please check out our social media on both Facebook and Instagram at World of Exotics. Now back to the podcast.
So, dinner table, you guys are hosting. There's 4 seats around the table. You can invite any people. You can have 2 each, dead or alive. Who you inviting and why?
Do you want me to go?
Yeah, go on, because I ain't never thought about this.
I'd go with Rick Mail and Jesus.
Jesus isn't real.
Look,
They got to be real people.
Well, depends if you're religious or not. Jesus could be real.
so yeah, you can have Noddy.
I prefer big ears, but I've already got you for that.
No, I ain't got big ears, you prick.
Oh, it's a bit weird. You stumped me, Tom. I don't know what to say.
Well, just pick your 2 people that you'd like to invite for dinner. It would get along with Rick Mail and Jesus.
Oh, Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You must. That's
I'm a
an
pretty
easy
boring
question.
bloke, aren't I?
What? Oh yeah, I know that. But...
So I don't think of things like that. 2 people, God, Jesus.
well, you pick one, Samuel
I
Jackson.
just said Jesus.
No, he's already there.
No,
Jesus' dad.
same thing.
No, it ain't. We'll have a family feud.
You can't. What, you can't pick one other person. You can't think of anyone.
Not really. I'd want to have dinner with. No.
No.
You see me eat dinner.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's unreal.
Shoveling food in my mouth.
It'd be a quick
All
one.
the time to
It's
anyone.
unreal. If anyone's seen that clip of The Simpsons where the conveyor belt of donuts and Homer Simpson, just go, that's the way he eats.
No, no, honestly. Samuel Jackson and Gavin.
Wait, Gavin was on not last episode, the one before.
He was, yeah.
Yeah. He's getting way too much publicity.
Are you his agent? Do you get a cut of money by any chance, Scott?
No.
It sounds like you've got a publishing deal or an advertising deal here.
Nah. I'd like to speak Samuel Jackson just because I want to see how many times he can say DMF.
Motherfucker.
Hey! That's it. Yeah, and that was it. I'm not.
One person, just one other person. So you got to think
Oh my God, Elvis Presley. Because I don't think he's dead.
Oh,
of. No.
no.
Can you ask him? Are you actually dead, Elvis?
If you're listening to this, Elvis, drop a comment.
Subscribe to YouTube under 18 Bolts. So, final question for the day.
I'll leave it out.
So,
All
tradition now this series is going to be the previous guest writes down a question for the next guest.
I know what
They don't know who it's going to be.
I don't care.
So, the question that you guys have been asked by Darren from Neighbours Constrictors 13 is,
We've been set up. Hang on, we've been set
If
up.
something happens unexpectedly to you, what is the plan with your animals?
Funny you should say that, because
That's weird. We was talking about this the other day.
Lee thinks he's going to die.
No.
No, go on, tell
I
him.
sorted
You
out
tell
my
him.
life insurance the other day, right? I
After
took
I told him to.
responsibility and I took out life insurance. So I happened to say to him, what happens if one of us snuffs it? What happens? So we actually do have a plan. So the plan is that, I mean, you're older, but I'm less fit. I'm unhealthy. So it's, you know what I mean? It's a 50-50 really, isn't it? It's like, you know, you got to laugh at these things, haven't you? So
I'm more likely to get killed by someone.
it's like, because we was in the car the other day and it come on the radio and it said, and I know this affects everyone, and I think unless you laugh about it, if you laugh about stuff, you're taking away the seriousness, not the seriousness, you're taking away, I don't know, it's power, if you like, if you laugh at something. So we was in the car the other day, come on the show, on the radio, 1 in 2 people will get cancer in their lifetime. And I said to him, fucking hell.
You're going to get cancer?
I said, used to be 1 in 4 people used to get it. Now it's 1 in 2. And he went, well, that's one of us. And I went, well, you can fucking have it. He went, no, you're having it. So we was arguing over who's going to get
You know
it.
what I said? I said, let's go and find 2 more people and let them have it.
So, yeah. So, yeah, no, we have got a plan.
I
So,
think that scared you, didn't it?
well, so, yeah, no, a little bit, but it is what it is.
The plan is that if Lee goes first,
Don't do that. Don't make
Pray
it.
to
I
God.
believe it anyway.
Don't do the spectacles, testicles, wallet and watch.
If Lee goes first, I'm going to take care of everything and sell off the stuff, and I'm going to keep the best stuff and sell the rest.
I want him to
sort his
snuff it so I
family
can
out.
have his Wookiee.
And then, and if I go first, Lee's going to do the same. And if we go together, we don't care because we'll be dead.
Yeah, don't really matter. It's someone else's
Just
problem.
come round the time, take what you like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
brilliant.
No, hopefully by that time we'll I'll leave a little hidden note somewhere.
Right.
Contact Gavin. Sorry, Gav. I don't know why, but yeah. No,
Don't you normally do the question about what you'd have to eat at this dinner thing? Is that not?
Well, we can do if you want. What are you going to have to eat?
No, because he's a foodie. He likes cooking. I'm not
does he?
saying he's.
Oh, I love cooking. Yeah,
I'm not saying he's a greedy prick, but he likes his cooking. So that's got to be an easier question rather than who would you have there? What would you cook?
Go on in. What are you going to cook?
Steak.
For starters, mains and dessert.
Right, for starters, yeah, I would cook some sort of mushroom dish. I love
Oh,
mushrooms.
sounds magic.
Yeah. So we'd have some mushrooms for starters. For the main, it would be steak, mash, gravy. It'd be really nice though. It'd be lovely. Crushed potato mash.
He's always
I've got
cooking
to
some weird thing and sending me a picture
bake
of
in
it.
the oven. Oh, lovely. Brilliant.
How are you cooking the steak?
Fucking rare. How else can you cook a steak? What's the point if you ain't going to have it rare?
Yeah.
Anyway, and for dessert, I would do an apple crumble. I love apple crumble.
Back to basics now, are we?
Wait, there's nothing basic about my apple crumble.
If I knew that was going to be
Apart
your
from the person
answers,
cooking it.
if I knew that was going to be your answers, I
Lee,
wouldn't have
off the
said to.
cuff, right? What do you expect me to do?
They were shit.
We did rehearse You'd enjoy it.
Yeah, but
Right, well, then, shit then, is it?
you're always sending me pictures of this stuff you're cooking in your slow cooker that's been in there for 5 weeks cooking.
Oh, what, me brisket?
Yeah,
Oh,
stuff like that.
Love a brisket. Pulled pork.
Oof. Now
Yeah.
we're talking.
So
Pulled
I'd have chicken strips for starter.
Chicken. What,
No,
dippers?
No, yeah, but I'd have my wife's barbecue Jack Daniel's sauce on top of it because that stuff is like, it's unreal.
Well, I can't get hold of that.
And then for mine, I'd have my mum's steak and kidney pudding.
Oof. Proper suet pudding.
Oh man, it's unreal. It's unreal.
Do you know what?
And dessert, I'm not bothered.
That table we sit down, there are only 2 other people going to turn up because I don't think the other 2 are
I didn't understand a word of
You're on
that.
the radio, you knobhead. You've got to talk. You just went.
I'm sure they heard me.
No, I didn't. I didn't even hear you. I'm
I
sitting
said,
right next to you.
no.
Tom, you got to cut that bit.
You ain't going to cut nothing.
I don't know how to.
Good. It's probably for the best. Is there any more questions, Tom?
Right, you got somewhere to be, mate?
No, I ain't. There she goes. I ain't got anywhere to be.
No, that is it. We're going to wrap it up now
Are you
anyway.
sure? How long
Yeah.
have we been on for?
58 minutes.
58. What's the
Jesus.
record?
4 hours 20.
What, that's the record someone's talked to you
Yeah.
for?
I don't know how they've done it.
I don't know how you've done it.
I don't even talk to myself that much.
4 hours 20.
Depends on the way.
It's not 4 hours 20, don't panic.
Going forward with your podcast, are you going to do more lives?
Yes.
Is it going to be a Friday night thing at 8 o'clock when I'm usually at work, watching you and then have to keep turning off all the time?
It will be live, but it will be a recorded thing as well.
Oh,
so
right.
it's going to go via YouTube Live, which will then save it and record it, etc. So it can be watched back at a later date. And it won't be a live like I've done on Instagram in the past. It will be essentially another podcast episode, but with international guests.
Do you ever think about recording your podcasts?
Yes, I have thought about it, but it is a pain in the arse logistically.
Why? You stick a phone up, then you record.
No, it's a professional
no?
outfit. This is, we don't put a phone up and record.
Sorry, you need a cameraman.
It's not tech savvy. It's not tech savvy.
No, we've seen the videos. We know he's not tech savvy.
Yeah.
But no, that is it. We are done. So nothing left to do apart from to say thank you very much for agreeing to come on.
Oh, we need to plug ourselves. don't we?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So before you get into that,
You can plug yourself.
I don't know how to plug ourselves, do I? Nah.
so for anyone that isn't following, where can people find you on social media?
Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
All new Gene Balls.
Yes, new Gene Balls. We ain't done TikTok.
No, and we ain't gonna either.
Oh, are we?
No, we ain't.
Oh, right.
You can.
Settled that one then, hasn't it?
I remember we weren't going to do YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, cheers for that.
Lee loves YouTube, doesn't he?
He does now, yeah. He
Yeah,
does.
he's-
It's took him long enough, but he's come around.
I'd stay off the other platforms. I'll do YouTube, but I'll stay off the other platforms. Scott can sort them out.
Perfect. Well, there we go. We are done. So, as I said earlier, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you, Tom.
Cheers
And-
for having us.
We'll see you again soon.
See ya.
See ya.
Hi, this is Ashley from Living Out Ball Pythons, proud to be sponsoring that Wolfie's Royal podcast. I'm a professional, fully licensed ball python breeder with 15 years experience, based in Batley, West Yorkshire. I am always here and happy to help and advise anyone that needs it with no charge, as I believe we should support each other in this industry and hobby. You can check out everything I have available on my Morph Market store, Living Out Ball Pythons, or via my website, livingoutballpythons.co.uk. If you are looking for help or advice, you can contact me on social media or through the website. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. You can also visit the website to find out more about us and see the awesome range of products I also stock. 4 years ago, I decided there was a big gap in the market for designer reptile tools and products. Being a girl obsessed with designer ball pythons, I wanted feeding tools and hides to match. I now have a huge range of awesome tools, hides, setup and quarantine kits, substrates, dividers, and more. I am constantly expanding this range, and I am always happy and thankful for any feedback and new product ideas. To give a little something back, I am giving all podcast listeners 10% off all Morph Market prices and off any website order using the discount code WOLFIES10. This is a one-time use code on Morph Market and the website. Thanks for listening. Now back to Tom.
And there we go. That was Scott and Lee from New Gene Balls. I hope you enjoyed listening to that as much as I enjoyed recording it. Those two guys, really, really funny guys, always digging each other out at every opportunity they get. So if you get their sense of humour, go and watch the YouTube, go and follow their social media pages and stuff. Have a look at the projects that they've got going on and just show them some support. I don't really have too much just left to say before finishing this episode, apart from if you're looking at importing or exporting any animals to Europe or to the US, then Scott Wilkinson Reptiles and I are still offering that service. So message me. Scott will probably point you my way if you message him anyway. So if you do have any animals that you want to send over to the EU or the US, or that you want to bring back from the EU or the US, drop me a message and I'll let you know the details, and I'm sure we can work something out. Bookings are closing shortly. I believe it's the end of February where we'll be looking at tying up any loose ends and getting stuff imported and exported. So you've got about 4 weeks left to do this. So if you want to get stuff sorted, drop me a message. We'll get some booking forms sent over and we can get that done for you ASAP. As I said, that's pretty much all I've got to say. So thank you guys very much for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode. Peace.